Okay, welcome back. The first part of this training module was earlier recorded. So module one and the introduction can be accessed through the YouTube channel that I had forwarded earlier. I will be sending out another invitation later, and you can go back to the introduction and to module one anytime that you want. So this is readily accessible through YouTube. So all of the sessions will be published there, so that you can access it anytime, anywhere you want. Okay. So now we're going to talk about session two. We're going to session two, and this is all about anchoring our HR goal to the business strategy. Okay. Now, when we talk about anchoring our HR role to the business strategy, we are first thinking about the business plan of our organization. So, to be able to make our actions strategic, therefore, we need to first know what is the key message of our business plan. Okay. Now, every organization has to have a business plan. So your institution will most likely have its own business plan. Okay. Now, in the Chameleon institutions, um, normally we have this strategic plan for 5 years. Okay. A strategic plan was created back in 2018, facilitated by Father John Paul. Then we also did a strategic planning review and adaptation of the balance scorecard for performance monitoring back in 2019 and to early 2020 before the pandemic. Okay. Now you have to go back to these planning sessions that we had before. Okay. If in case you would like some clarifications, we will discuss that separately, and I could provide you some of the documentations that were done during that time. However, we just for the purpose of discussion for this session, we will just use concepts and use general terms, no? So that you can just grasp what this means. No? So when we talk about strategic people management, we're talking about being strategic. We always refer to the business plan. And what is the key message of that business plan? And the key message of that business plan is often expressed and communicated through our vision, the mission, goals, objectives, key result areas, performance indicators, and the general strategies that our organization is trying to do, trying to accomplish. Now, what is the nature of strategic HRM? Okay. Strategic HRM means that we establish our human resource management systems in line with our business strategy. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung ginagawa natin sa HR, dapat naka-align doon sa gusto nating mangyari sa ating business. Okay? So, when we talk about our institutions, forgive me if I'm going to use business terminologies. Okay? Because when we talk about running our organization, these are more or less revenue generating organizations. So therefore, we will need to use business related terms. Okay. So when we talk about business strategy, we're talking about what is your institution trying to accomplish and how it is trying to accomplish it, so that we adopt our systems in human resource management to that strategy. Okay. For example, I take, for example, passive, St. Camilo's passive. The strategy right now, the business strategy right now is to go digital, okay, to offer or to use a digital platform in offering our services. Okay. So that is the business strategy. So now, we need to establish our human resource management system around that. No? So paano natin ma-implement yung strategy na yun kung hindi akma yung HR strategies and systems na ginagawa natin. Okay? So if the strategy is to go and use a digital platform in marketing, therefore, we need to have the competencies to be able to manage that strategy, to be able to implement that strategy. Kailangan natin ng IT, kailangan natin ng digital marketer, kailangan natin ng someone who would manage the digital platforms, no? Which is not present before. So ngayon, present na sila ngayon. Kailangan natin sila dahil bago na yung business strategy. We need to hire those talents, those competencies within the organization, and then to reformat the way we do things in order to incorporate the digital platform strategy. Okay, so that is just by an example, no, of how what we mean by this one. Okay. Now, for example, another example, if your hospital, the long-term business plan of the hospital is to grow from a level 1 to a level 2. Or if you're in a level 2 hospital, you want to become a level 3. Okay, so that is your business plan, what you're trying to accomplish in the future. So therefore, you need to adapt the way we do our human resource management planning system towards that direction as well. So, ano ba yung magiging organizational structure? Ano yung kaibahan ng level 1 sa level 2? Sino yung mga kailangan natin ipasok? May mga bagong competencies ba tayong kailangan dalhin sa loob ng organization? So all of those things we need to incorporate. And of course, if there's going to be these big changes, then we have to also adapt our system, the way we do things, to these changes. Okay? Now, before we even talk about strategic human resource management, we need to understand strategic planning first. Okay, so let me just discuss very briefly what is the strategic planning process and framework. Okay, now it all begins with a statement, yung vision statement ng organization. And of course, that vision statement is anchored in the mission of the institution. Ano ba yung mission natin? What are we trying to accomplish? Okay. In order to achieve that vision, we also need to we need to study na saan ba tayo ngayon? Saan tayo nakalagay ngayon? Ano yung situation natin yan? Okay? For example, if my vision is to become a level 3 hospital in 5 years' time, sabihin natin, yun yung vision. Tingnan mo, ano ka ngayon? Ngayon, level 1 ako. Okay? Pero yung vision ko, maging level 3 or level 4 later in a few years. So ngayon, level 1 ako. So this is my reality right now. I'm level 1 and I want to go from level 1 to level 3 and level 4. Okay? So what would be my strategy? Ano yung gagawin ko para makarating ako mula dito papunta doon? And to do that, of course, you need to take into consideration opportunities and threats that you have. You also need to take into consideration the strengths and weaknesses that you have right now. Okay, what are the opportunities that you have right now? Kaway na sa level 1. What are the threats that might get in your way in achieving that level 2, level 3, level 4? Ano yung kakayanan mo? What are your strengths? At ano yung kahinaan mo? Ano yung mag-prevent sa'yo from getting there? So you need to take note of all of these things. You need to take into account all of these things so that you can make the right strategy to get to that vision that you have. Now, when we talk about strategic plans and strategic directions. Please take note of these terminologies. No? So we often use these terminologies, and we need to know ano ba yung mga terminologies na ito. When we talk about mission, we're talking about the reason for being, the reason why our institution was created. Okay? So, yan yung ibig sabihin ng mission. So, pag kayo, meron kang mission statement, that mission statement is simply telling you what is your purpose, why are you here, why are you existing. No? When we talk about vision, we're talking about a desired future state. Ito yung nakikita kong magiging kalagayan ko in 5 years' time, in 6 years' time, in 10 years' time. Okay? A future state or the impact we will have on our clients and the environment. Okay? Siguro, gamitin ko example just to make it simple. No? For example, I'm a father, I'm a dad. Okay? I have children. Okay? My mission, one of my mission, a part of my mission as a dad, as a father, is to provide my children a good future. Okay? Yun yung mission ko, purpose ko. Why am I a father? Why am I a dad? I'm a dad right now, and my mission is to give my children a good and bright future. Okay? So what is my vision? My vision is, ito yung future state na gusto ko. Gusto ko, ang vision ko, nakapagtapos sila ng kolehiyo at makakakita sila ng magandang trabaho. Kung magkakaroon sila ng magandang negosyo. No? So, whatever it is, ito yung nakikita ko magiging future nila. Also, part of the vision that I have, hindi lang sila maganda yung trabaho, hindi lang maganda yung negosyo. Nakikita ko rin na meron silang masaya at malaking pamilya. So, yan yung vision. Ito yung hinaharap na gusto kong makita. Okay? So, yan yung kaibahan ng dalawa. Medyo may kalintulad din. Pero, para ma-distinguish niyo yung difference niyan, pagka sinabi natin mission, ano yung purpose mo? Ang purpose ko, mabigyan sila ng magandang buhay. Ang vision ko, ng ano yung magandang buhay na yun, masayang pamilya, magandang trabaho, magandang steady na pinagkakakitaan. And for me to achieve that vision and to fulfill that mission, okay, tandaan nyo, we fulfill a mission and we achieve a vision. Okay? So in order to achieve that vision, kailangan ko silang, ano yung gagawin ko? Yan yung strategy ko. No? Ano yung gagawin ko para makamit nila yung gusto kong makuha nila? Pag-aaralin ko sila, bibigyan ko sila ng magandang pamumuhay ngayon. Siguro, bibigyan ko sila ng sapat na mga pangangailangan nila, pagkain, damit, tirahan, okay? Pag-aaral. So, those become my objectives. No? So, those become my objectives. My strategy is to provide them all of the, my objective is to help them finish school and provide them everything that they will need so that they will be able to achieve yung vision ko para sa kanila. Okay? And so, ano yung magiging key result area ko? Paano ko susukatin yung objectives na yan? Okay? Nakapag-aral sila. So, paano masusukat yan? Okay? In terms of yung diploma nila, makapag-aral sila sa kolehiyo. In terms of yung kung ano yung na-provide mo, in terms of siguro kung ano yung naging na-provide mo sa kanila, yung tirahan, pangangailangan nila, mga libro, etc. Okay, so those will be your performance indicators or goals or your milestones. No? Makatapos sila ng grade school, makatapos sila ng high school, makatapos sila ng college. Okay? So pag nalagawa na yan, then they get closer to their objectives, and they get closer to the vision. Okay. So when we talk about that part, now we're talking, ito yung dream part, no? Yung mission, vision, objectives, and key result areas. The reality part is the opportunities, threats, strengths, and weaknesses. Okay. So what is opportunity? These are the things that are happening externally that will affect our performance. When we talk about threats, these are groups or realities in the external environment that can hinder our performance. Okay. So example of opportunity, external. There is an opportunity for me para mapadala sila sa college. There is an opportunity for me to apply for scholarships. Okay. Threats. Ano yung opportunity? External din. Ano yung threats? Baka magkasakit sila. O nandito pa rin tayo sa pandemic. Baka magkasakit sila. Maawa sila sa COVID. Okay. So that's a threat. Hindi sila makatapos. Okay. Strengths. Ito yung kakayanan mo. What the organization has to support the mission, vision, and objectives. The weakness is what the organization does not have, and that will hinder the mission, vision, objectives. Okay. So, strengths. Ano yung strengths ko? May trabaho ko. Anong weakness ko? Siguro, we need to find out ano yung saan ako maaring madiskaril. Maaring weakness ko ay example, siguro, weakness, makapag-ipon. Hindi ako marunong mag-ipon. That would be a weakness. So, kaya kung hindi ako marunong mag-ipon, kahit may trabaho ako, then that will hinder me from achieving my objective and vision for my family. So, example ko yun. No? So, in planning, these 8 terminologies are always used or part of it. Okay. Now, let me just show you this. This is a more detailed process or illustration of the planning process. Okay. We won't go through it in detail, but you just review it. We will just discuss it, perhaps separately. But I'm just presenting this to you so that you will be able to get an idea, just to get an idea, ano ba yung planning process, so that you know how planning the business plan or the institutional plan is produced. Okay, so there is this dream part. Ito yung from vision to performance indicators, and there's the reality part wherein you consider opportunities, threats, strengths, and weaknesses. Then from this, information, then you formulate strategies. From the strategies, you create plans and action programs. And from those plans and action programs, you detail activities and tasks, and then ano yung mga resources na requirement mo. Okay? So, saan pumapasok dito yung HR work? Okay? Actually, HR work happens in all of these parts. Okay? Meron tayong ginagawa para dyan. Okay? Pero, towards this end, yung activities and tasks, pagka na-outline mo na kung ano yung activities and tasks na gagawin mo, then you will be able to identify kung ano yung competencies na kailangan mo sa organization. At if ma-determine mo yung competencies na yan, paano mo siya hanapin later. Okay? So, yung ating HR plan will come after the general plan of the organization when it already accomplishes what are the activities and tasks that are to be performed in order to implement programs and projects, in order to implement strategies. Okay? So, we become strategic if we link yung gagawin natin sa HR doon sa strategic part ng plan. Okay? Doon tayo umuugnay. Doon tayo nagko-connect. Okay? So it is important to understand ano ba yung strategy ng organization. Okay? Again, I will use the example doon sa Pasig. The strategy is to make use of digital platforms in order to increase the the number of clients that the hospital services. Okay, so that's one strategy. The other strategy is to increase corporate partnerships and corporate clients. So ito yung strategy ng SMC Pasig. Okay, so that kung ito yung strategy niyan, ano ngayon yung mga action programs niya? Meron siyang digitalization program, meron siyang marketing program, okay? Marketing and sales program. So, for example, kung itong two programs na ito, ano yung gagawin ng tao doon? Okay? So, doon sa digitalization program, kailangan gagawin dyan, kailangan i-install yung operating systems, i-digitalize lahat, i-automate lahat. Pangalawa, gumawa ng digital platforms. Pangatlo, ayusin yung communication platform. Okay? So kung ito yung mga activities doon, ano yung mga gagawin, yung task ng individual na tao dun sa mga task, na mga activities na yon. Okay? Establishing the digital platform. What are the tasks? The task is to create a Facebook page. Pangalawa is to create a website. Pangatlo is to design logos. Pangapat is to provide content. Okay, so kung yun yung task ngayon, malalaman mo ngayon anong klaseng talento ang kailangan mo para magawa yung task na yun. At yung talentong bang yun nandito sa loob ng organisasyon natin o wala pa? Okay? O nandun na ba siya, naka-identify na ba dun sa ating organizational structure na kailangan natin ng ganitong department para gawin itong task nito, yung function. Okay? So yun, doon na mag-umpisa ngayon yung recruitment mo, doon na mag-umpisa ngayon yung training mo, orientation mo, yung performance management, paano mo babantayan yung performance nito, paano mo tutulungan siya ma-improve yung kanyang ginagawa so that yung task na yan, yung activities na yan magawa na tama at makakontribute doon sa purpose ng organization, which is to increase, or yung objective ng organization, which is to increase the number of clients for the hospital. Okay, so that is an example of how you will be linking HR activities or HR plans to the strategic plan of the organization. Now, when we talk about strategic HRM, we're talking about two things, strategy and plan. Okay, magkaiba yung dalawang yan, ha? Hindi yan pareho. Iba yung strategy, iba yung plano. Okay, so when you talk about strategy, you're talking about the what, okay, or the main driving force that will help attain the objectives. When you're talking about plan, you're talking about the details that will put that strategy into action. We're talking about the how we will do it. Okay. Now, in strategy development, there is also a process. No? So, ano yung process na yan? First, you conduct a situational analysis. Then you choose the best strategic options. Then you try to achieve strategic fit. And then you write the business plan. You write the details of how you're going to do it. And all of these are focused on the vision, accomplishing the vision and fulfilling our vision. Okay. When we talk about situational analysis, ito yung kaninang sinasabi kong external and internal environment analysis. Okay. So when you do the external analysis, we're actually trying to identify opportunities and threats. Okay. So to guide you in doing the external environment, meron tayong acronym, yung STEEPLE. Okay. Ano ibig sabihin ng STEEPLE? Social, technology, environment, economic, political, legal, and ethical. Okay. Ano yung ibig sabihin niyan? Okay. We look for opportunities and threats in these areas. Social, yung ano natin, human relations natin, yung paligid natin. Technological, yung mga advancements in terms of technology. What are the opportunities there? What are the threats there? Environment, Ito yung could be natural environment o yung kapaligiran natin. Okay? Yung economic, ito yung economic condition natin. What are the opportunities right now in terms of economic opportunities and what are the threats? Are we going into recession? If you're going to recession, definitely there are threats. People will be there will be threats and opportunities, of course, in every situation. Okay, but we have to learn how to identify them. Okay, this people will just help or will just provide us a guide kung ano yung mga dapat nating tingnan and what areas yung dapat nating consider. Okay. When we talk about internal environment, we're talking about yung looking for strengths and weaknesses. Okay. So to guide us, we use the McKinsey 7S framework. Okay. So sorry for the wrong spelling. McKinsey 7S framework. Okay. So dito, ano ba yung McKinsey 7S? Dito, titingnan mo dito yung strategy, structure, system, style, staff, skills, and shared values. Okay? Pag-aaralan mo isa-isa yan. Ano ba yung strategy ng organization? What is our strength and weaknesses there? Ano yung structure ng organization? What is our strength and weaknesses in that structure? Ano yung system ng organization? What are the strengths and weaknesses in the systems in the organization? Okay? Etc. So, etong mga to, tinitingnan natin to as part of our situational analysis. Then, once we've done that situational analysis, then we can better identify yung SWOT natin, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And from that SWOT, we can come up with various strategic options. Yung strategic options, ibig sabihin, there are several ways of addressing our challenges. Hindi lang isa yun. Okay? Maraming maaaring options. Marami kang gawing strategy. Okay? Pero kailangan piliin kung alin doon yung best strategy or the right strategy that will help you attain your vision and objectives more effectively and efficiently. Okay? So yan yung part ng wherein we choose the best strategic option. Okay? Then, next process will be to align everything that we are doing in the organization to the chosen strategy to our chosen strategy. So, kung pinili mo yung strategy mo, will be, for example, again, Pasig. Pinili ng Pasig to do a digital platform. So, kailangan mo i-align lahat doon. Okay? So, there has to be alignment of the structure, alignment of the systems, alignment of people towards that strategy. Okay? Kasi kung kunyari, meron kang ang digital platform strategy, you're going to use, make use of technology to be able to increase clients in the hospital. Pero kung hindi mo inalign yung sistema mo doon, kunwari, yung pa rin yung dati mong sistema, yung sistema wherein that accommodates on-site people. No? Wala kang sistema para doon sa accommodating people who would like to access your services online. Kahit na maganda yung marketing mo for your digital platform, for your home services, and for your teleconsult, kung hindi naman pala ready yung mga tao doon sa baba, then you won't be able to implement that strategy properly. So therefore, kung ano yung strategy mo, dapat ayusin mo and gear it towards that. Okay? A superior strategy is useless without institutional alignment. So useless yung digital marketing mo kung wala ka naman palang taong sasagot ng telepono, sasagot doon sa chat box sa messenger. Useless din yung digital platform mo kung yung doktor naman pala, wala naman palang cellphone na pwedeng gamitin, wala palang internet, no? Use it. So you have to align everything towards your strategic option that you've chosen. Then finally, writing the business plan means putting everything that we're doing into writing, because this will serve as our basis for later to evaluate whether we did it well or right or not. This is also going to serve as our guide as we are implementing it, because this is a long-term plan. It will take 3, 5 years. And during that time, maraming nangyayari. So, madaling makalimutan. So, we need a document na babalikan natin para mas madali tayo magabayan. Okay? So, that's it about strategy. No? So, we incorporate our, we're discussing this so that we can incorporate our HR system to the business plan. Okay? Not the other way around. No? Hindi tayo nag-create ng business plan to accommodate our HR activities. No? So tayo yung nag-a-adapt. Okay? So dapat i-adapt natin doon sa kailangang magawa ng organization. Okay. So now we go to module 3. Organizational design. This is the last module for today. Okay. Organizational design. Now, I would like you to refer to this map every now and then, because this map is the one that will guide us through our discussion. Okay. So we've started our discussion with strategy. Okay. Then now we go into organizational design. Okay. Under this module, we're going to discuss first, how are we going to organize ourselves in our institution based on the strategy or long-term plan that we have for our institution. Okay. Now, these are 3 important SPM Strategic People Management Framework Components: organizational design, job design, and competency model. Okay. Now, for today, I'm just going to discuss to you about organizational design. Pero kung mapapansin nyo, magkakadikit itong tatlong ito. Okay. So when you do the organizational design, the next step would be job design. The next step would be competency modeling. Okay. So we'll do this step by step first. Okay. So we start with organizational design. When we talk about organizational design, this is an illustration of how the different critical jobs in our organization are connected and related to effectively and efficiently implement the business strategy. What I want you to remember here is that this is an illustration. Ibig sabihin, may drawing ka. Okay? When we talk about design, meron kang drawing. So you need to draw later. Okay? You need to have a picture of how your organization is actually interconnected, how the different positions and the different departments are interconnected and interrelated. Okay? Then when we talk about job design, we're talking about the specific positions or jobs in the organization and how they are structured in order to facilitate achievement of its deliverables. We will go to that later in detail. Competency model naman is the way to describe the talents, the knowledge, skills, and or attitudes that are required for one to excel in a particular job within the organization. Okay? So magkakasunod to and magkakaunay. Okay? So hindi mo magagawa ang competency model kung hindi mo pa nagawa yung job design. Hindi mo magagawa ang job design kapag hindi mo pa naayos yung organizational design. Okay? So these 3 are connected. Okay? And when you begin doing this or begin reviewing this, you have to consider all 3 of this together. Pero we will start with the organizational design. Now, different organizations are designed differently. Okay? And they're designed for a purpose. So that purpose is often linked with what they're trying to achieve. Okay? So there are some organizations that are organized based on functions. Okay? Gaya natin, no? For example, sa atin. No? So you have top management. Under top management, you have the production department, you have the marketing department, you have the finance department, you have the administration and general services department. Okay. So in this design, flat siya, no? Makita mo, apat na department under one top management. Okay? So, naka-organize siya in terms of function. Okay? Ano yung trabahong ginagawa nila? Okay? There are some organizations that are organized in terms of customer, in terms of their customers. Okay, so ito yung tinatawag na customer-centric organizations. Okay, so meron kang customer, itong customer mo may sariling grupo na nagsiservice dun sa customer na yun. And then, it is eventually linked to your supply or manufacturing chain. Okay, so dito, most often, this is the design for those who are offering B2B, no? Services or B2B offerings. No? So you're designed towards the need of a particular customer or a particular segment of your market. Okay? Now, meron namang ibang design na based on product. Okay? Organize sila in terms of the products that they use or distribute. Okay? Karaniwan dito yung mga, for example dito, yung mga pharmaceuticals. No? Merong grupo na nag-handle ng ganitong mga klaseng gamot. Mga gamot na pangbata. Para to sa grupong to. Okay? Yung mga gamot na pangmatanda, ito naman. Yung mga gamot para sa mga taong may dementia, iba naman yung nag-ahakot nyo. No? And then iba naman yung support department. So you organize yourself in terms of product. Okay? So bakit ganito to? Kasi because you want to have, the organization would like to have a focus on the product branding and distribution and marketing. Okay? So they organize themselves into certain products. Okay? And like I said, ito, ma-observe ito, for example, sa mga pharmaceutical companies. Now, the other organizations are designed in terms of area focus. No? So, meron kang branch A, branch B, branch C, and under each branch may sarili kayong set of organizational levels doon. No? So, kunyari, sa isang branch, bawat branch may manager, merong support group, merong operations group. Okay? And then, supervised ng mga isang management group. Okay? Then they have central support services. Common institutions that use this design are examples are yung mga bangko. No? So yung mga bangko, so di ba? Mga bangko, yung mga pawn shops. Okay? But anyway, yung mga, for example, yung mga pawn shops, some of them are already using a franchise model. Okay? So that's a different organizational model. No? Pero for banks, ano pa rin sila, you have top management, you have middle management, you have central operations, then you have branches. Okay? More or less, siguro, kung titignan niyo itong particular structure na ito, more or less, dito, ito yung isa sa mga nasasabi nating angkop sa atin. Sa institutions natin. Okay? Alam niyo, di ba, meron tayong central office. No? So ito yun, kung saan ako ngayon. Nandito ako sa central office. Then we have branches. No? Hospital of Calbayo, Hospital of Mati, Medhaven, Polyclinic Makati, SEMC Pasig. These are branches. No? And in each branch, may kayong organizational structures. Okay? Ito yung model na yun. Okay? Because we are under one organization. Okay? Isa lang yung pangalan natin, St. Camillus. Okay? So, St. Camillus, we have a branch here, branch there, branch. Okay? So, ito yung, more or less, ito yung structure natin. Okay? Then the more complicated structure is those are organized like a matrix, no? May cross-functional functions, no? Yung meron silang cross functions, okay? Area 1 is managing a particular product A, product B, product C, pero merong bawat product, merong sariling group that is operating them. And this particular group reports to different people in the organization. Okay? So hindi ko na masyadong i-discuss yan dahil medyo komplikado. Okay? Pero there are some organizations that are organized this way. Um, they operate in a lot of areas. No? Most likely ito yung mga, an example of this, ito yung may mga multinational companies, no? That have inter-country operations. May present, may pharmaceuticals, meron din ganito. No? They operate here, their main office is in the abroad, in the US. They have branches in different countries, and each country, they have their own product development, research, and etc. Product management activities. No? So, bawat product may sariling group managing them. Okay. So how is our organization designed at present? Okay, and in what ways is it facilitative of strategy implementation, and in what ways is it a hindrance? Okay, so this will be our assignment for today, for today, and hopefully we will be discussing this on our next meeting. Okay. What I would like you to do, what I would like you to do for this one is that I would like you to take a look at the present organizational design. Okay, so it's not to make it complicated. Just take a look at your own institution first. Okay, so likewise, like what we said, organizational design is an illustration. So what you will do is that you review the present organizational design. Okay, make an illustration. No? Ano ba yung organizational structure natin ngayon? Okay? Kung wala kang illustration ngayon, then gumawa ka. No? Gawin mo as what is actually the structure this moment. Okay? So you draw some boxes. No? You can just draw it on paper. Okay, you don't need to complicate it, make it to digital form. However, if you can do it that way, then fine, good, better. Okay, but if you're having difficulty writing down and drawing it on computer, then it's enough that you take a piece of paper, draw boxes and lines into it and the positions. Okay, so just outline what is the present organizational structure. Okay, write all of the positions that you have right now and how are they interconnected. Okay, and how are they grouped and organized. Now, once you have done that step, once you have mapped out the organizational design, the present organizational design, the next step is you take a look at it, review it, and ask yourself, is this the right design for our organization? In consideration also of the strategy, in consideration also of the long-term plan of the organization. Okay? And based on these considerations, what would you add? What would you remove? What would you align, realign, or transfer in the organizational structure to make it more effective and efficient? Write it down. Identify it first. Okay? Then, after having written it down, create that organizational structure which you think would be the most appropriate for your institution that would help you attain the strategy and the plan of the organization. Okay? So that will be the case assignment for this one. So how you're going to do this again? Of course, you're going to need to allot at least go to an hour or two doing these drawings, analyzing them, figuring it out, and then drawing another ideal structural design for the organization. Once you've done that, scan it or take a photo of it, make sure that it is a clear photo, and then send it in our Google Drive page. Just post it there so that everybody can see it. Okay. This coming, I'm not sure for the next schedule, but if it's coming Friday, we're going to talk about it. Okay. So this is just an easy exercise. It won't take you 1 week. Okay, it will just take you a few hours. Okay, so I suggest you just sit down and devote a little time. If you, I know you're all busy, but if you can devote some time to do this, then we will have something to discuss this coming Friday during our peer learning session. Then from there, we'll be able to determine what would be the more appropriate design for our organization. Okay, so that will be all for this session. I will be posting this, the recording for this session to our YouTube channel, and you may access it again if you want to go back. The presentation itself will also be posted in the Google Drive, so you can just browse through it anytime you want. Okay. Now, after this, I'll still be recording other parts of it. So just keep in tune with the postings that we have in the YouTube channel. Okay, I'll just update you also to chat and to email if there are new items posted there. Okay, so basically we have two channels here, two platforms being used: YouTube and Google Drive, where you can access all of our materials. Okay. Any questions, I will entertain through our chat group. Okay, so you can ask anytime. If you have any questions, you can just chat. We can just chat through Facebook Messenger. Okay. So that'll be all for now. Thank you for your time. And you may refer to the earlier recording that I made for the introduction and to the first part, module 1, for this program. Okay. So thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye-bye.